So I understand what you mean. You do want a report that everyone can pull within their individual plants. The main issue that we are having is that the people that you are sending reports to were not set up as administrators in the system. So based upon the information that you gave me today, I have set these people up with administrator privileges, actually 3 people up with administrator privileges, so they'll be able to run this report themselves. So my goal today is to get the users up and running with the custom report, which will show the information for the plant or plants that they would like to report on. So now, being that these users are new to the system, there are going to be not new to the system as users, but new to the system as administrators. There might be some knowledge gaps. So with regards to basic administration skills, such as looking up users and assigning training. So if there is training that needs to occur on a basic admin level, then we'll have to circle back and make sure we make time for that training later this week or in the coming weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I will also send out. I'll also send out information, an admin training brochure, which the users will be able to use as a reference to search for users and such. And you were saying something, Cheryl?
We may want to bring you on site maybe sometime late January, early February to kind of bring us all up to speed on MarTech.
Sure, whatever you would like to do is, I'm sure we could work something out.
Yeah, maybe if you could just put together a quote for us, that would be great, and we can get that worked out.
I'll have to put you in touch with Jason Marquette, our director, and he would be able to work with you on a quote.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get into this. And basically, before I get started, I wanted to ask you, the people that are in the conference room, are you just looking at the screen, or do you have computers with you where you're able to walk through this at the same time?
So I am logged in right now to MarTech. This is Doug over at Allendale. So myself, Daryl, and Cheryl can see us.
Okay. Well, if you do not have a computer, I encourage you to, whenever you have an opportunity, hopefully today, to log into your computer and make sure that you have this information available. There is going to be a requirement that you will have to make a copy of this report that I'm going to show you, because of the only way you'll be able to make your own custom settings within this report is if you make your own copy. So that's one of the things that I'm going to show you how to do. I'm also going to show you how to customize this report to your plant. Then I'm also going to walk through how to read the report. So are there any questions before I get started?
Is it going to be more beneficial for us to log in as ourselves then and just try to follow along, or switch back and forth to see what you're doing versus?
Why don't I will stop and I'll walk you through the first part and show you how to get to the report. And then I'll give you probably a few minutes. And then if anyone has access to a computer, you can go ahead and make the copy of the report as I'll show. So the report that I'm referring to is going to be a custom report. The custom report is going to be the main navigation, and there should be a link that says custom reports. So I'm going to click on custom report.
I don't have that link. All I have is, under reports, all I have is standard reports.
What's your name?
Doug Hoover. Email address is dhoover@atlanticpower.com.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know if I was giving your name. Let me add you as an admin real quick.
Yeah, I sent you an email, but I didn't give you the email address.
Hey, Warren,
Okay,
are you
so-
able to, do you have that reports one?
I get the report, and then it says custom reports, but when I go there, there's nothing there, so.
Okay.
Okay, so, and who was that?
There.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
Daryl
who said there was nothing there?
When I go to the report, custom report, the only thing I see is Atlantic Power Certificate. And then when I try to
Yes, that's
build
the
anything-
report you're supposed to see.
Okay,
That is the report you're supposed to see.
okay.
Now, this is a report that I created for you. It does have the basic information that you will need to run a certificate report. And it's my understanding that the information that you're going to be reporting on will be certificate. So I believe this is a report that Cheryl is sending you. And okay, so the first thing that we'll do to personalize this report is on the far right, there's an actions menu.
All right.
And from the actions menu, you want to select copy. So whenever you click copy, it's going to open a dialog for the report, which will allow you to edit the report. And this is going to create your own personalized copy. So the first thing you'll have to do is rename the report. And I'm going to name this Dusty's Copy. You can name this whatever you want. And I recommend leaving everything set the way it is within the filters, for now anyway. And the second thing that I want to set for you, or I want you to set, is the user OU filter. And right now, this is set to the plant location, Kenilworth or Kenilworth. I'm going to click the trash can to delete that plant location. So since I deleted that plant location, you're going to have to choose your own plant location or the plant locations that you want to report on. So if I go to select criteria and choose plant location, there's an arrow that appears which indicates that I'm going to have to make another selection. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to select Dorchester, and I can select more than one plant if I want. So what was the other plant that was in reference?
Allendale.
Allendale, so I'm going to select Allendale as well. And once I select the plants that I want in the report, I click Done. And so those are the two plants. And if I wanted to, you can run this report on individual users for departments, but for this training purpose, we're going to focus on plants. Now, the next thing I want to show you is sharing. And sharing is going to be any other administrator that you want to share this report with. I have shared this report with you, so this should be showing up on the main page whenever you go to custom reports. Right now, this report is a new report, so it's not showing that it's being shared. The schedule is going to be what type of automation you want to apply to this report. So, for example, we have once, we have daily, weekly, and monthly. So if I want this report to pull monthly, I can move this bar and it'll give me a little bit more area to work with. Right now, this is going to repeat every month, and it's going to run on the first day of the month at 1 p.m. Central Time. And the start date will be today, and I'm going to select this for no end date. That means the report is going to run on the first of the month until I come into the system and change the scheduling settings. Now, this is setting the automation for the report within the learning management system. So if you want this delivered to your email, there's one more step, and that's delivery. And for delivery, you'll have to select email me, and this will email the report to whatever your email address is in the system, whatever email address you use to log in. Now, are there any questions so far? So I have, yes, sir, go ahead.
No.
There's a refresh button here at the bottom. If you click refresh, it's going to populate the report with the current settings that you have set. So you can move these bars to navigate through the report, and it'll show you the information that's in the report. So anytime you make a change to any of these settings up top, if you click refresh, it'll show you a preview. Now this is just a preview. It's not going to be a very effective means of analyzing the data within the report. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. I'm going to change my schedule settings because I don't want to receive an email. But I'm just doing that for my personal settings. I'm not saying that you should change that, because if you do want this report scheduled, then you do need to set schedule and delivery. So I'm going to click save, and I'm going to click close. And this is going to take me back to the main reporting page. And this is something that's very important. Right now, this report is processing. That means it's pulling the information from the learning management system into this report with the most current and up-to-date information. And then whenever it's finished processing, it'll give you the last run date. So these reports are set to run at a specific date based upon what you have scheduled. So if you come to this page and you want a refreshed report, let's say the report ran on December 1st, and I want an updated report, all you have to do is from the drop-down, click refresh. If you click refresh, it's going to refresh the data within the report. For example, this report, course details, if I open this report now, it would only show information up to September 16th. So this report, the one that I just ran, I'm going to select Excel from the drop-down. This is going to open the report in an Excel document. So here's the information that I have for the report, and this is a summary of what you ran in the report. I usually delete this, and I add a filter up here. If I select this top row, select row 1, and then select filter, it's going to allow me to filter this data. So for example, if I wanted to see users only at Allendale, I could select that filter, and now it's only showing users at Allendale. If I go to view, this will allow me to freeze the top row, and then I can scroll through and I can keep my headers in place as well. So I want to walk through, before I walk through what is in this report, does anybody have any questions? No questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'm going to filter this out to Hughes. I'm going to hide these other users and just look at Hughes. And here are the individual certification titles. And this is the due date for these certifications. And this is the first time certification period, first completion. So right now, he looks like he completed 12/6/2019. So he's going to enter into a renewal period on 11/6/2020. So the way the certifications are set up within the system, they'll remain in a certified status for 11 months. If it's a 12-month certification, they'll remain in a certified status for 11 months. And then after 11 months, they'll enter into an in-progress period where they'll have a month to retake their training that's associated with that certification. And then if they don't complete that training within that month, they will enter into an expired status. So, so this does show the expiration date. It shows the first time they completed the training and the expiration date of 12/6/2020. This shows that it's current. This shows the training that is associated with this certification. The manager name and the user status. So I'm going to go back to this home tab, and I'm going to clear my filter so it shows all the data again. And I can look at certification user status. I can go to users that are in progress. And this will show users that have not completed the training. It doesn't show any users that are expired. I'm going to go and, yeah, so it looks like users are either in progress or certified. I know there were some concerns about a graphic that had been sent, that you sent me, Cheryl. And I'm going to pull that graphic up and see if I can answer questions that are specific to that graphic.
Oh, yeah. Okay, because that's what we were, those guys were actually running there because that's all they had really access to. And
okay.
It didn't agree with this report totally. Or the dates, maybe my report when I sent it out was only up through the end of November and...
No, so the real question is there any way to see what guys are assigned what training that they haven't completed? So what it appears to us as is the only way we can see anything. So this is all I could see before. Now with this report, it looks like I'll be able to see a little more. But I mean, I run this report and it looks to me like I have nobody that is overdue, nobody has anything assigned, nobody's in progress, everybody's complete. So it looks to me like everything's good. Then Cheryl sends out the report saying that, well, I got a whole bunch of people that are due that aren't done. So what we're noticing is, and this may just be how it is, which kind of isn't good, but the only way we know anything is if the guys are assigned a training, they don't even know they're assigned a training unless they go in and they click on their My Transcripts, because those transcripts will say you're not assigned anything, even though they are.
Okay, there's a lot of information there. I'll try to answer each one of those questions, and please forgive me if I don't, and I'll be more than happy to answer all of those questions. So these are certifications. Emails are turned on within the learning management system for certification. So whenever a user is assigned a certification, they are going to receive an email to let them know they have been assigned a certification. Whenever they enter into a new period or an expiration period, they will receive emails as well to let them know that the period is changing within the certification. So just to show an example of, I'm going to log in as Brandon Armstrong, and I'll show you what they're going to be looking at. So you'll be able to see what your user's view will be within the system. So there is the Your Transcript area, and all training that is not a certification will show up on this Your Transcript widget. In the bottom of the page is the certification widget. So this is going to have the certifications that are assigned. And this is showing due dates, and this is not showing any information. So if I click on this Arc Flash Hazard Basic certification, it's going to take me to that certification, and it doesn't look like this training has been started. So the user clicks launch, it will open up the training, and then they can complete this certification. So if they go to their transcript, view your transcript, it's going to list all of the certifications that are on their transcript. This little icon shows a certification. This is an individual online course. So, yeah, if they go to any of these certifications, like this says in progress, click manage and click launch, and then they complete the training for that certification, and then they're certified. So any training that has already been completed, such as this rigging safety, I click manage. If I click re-request, it will put me into a new enrollment. So I want to add a little sidebar because this is extremely important for users that are taking certifications. If they need to recertify for any training that is associated with a certification, they will need to open up that certification and click re-request. That is going to put them into a new enrollment. So the reason why I'm saying that, if this user came and they type in rigging, safety, and the user clicked this course, and then they clicked launch, this is not going to put them into a new enrollment for the certification. It'll let them take the course, but it's not going to be associated with the certification directly. The only way that they're going to receive a new completion within that certification is if they click the re-request link. Does that make sense?
Yep. So can you go back to that home page again real quick?
Yes.
Okay, so under that certifications there, so those bottom three, he has assigned those as training, right? So when I look at, is there a way for me to run a report to look and see that he's been assigned that training, or is that what's going to show up in this report that I'm going to have access to now? It's going to show in progress, even though when he logs into it, it doesn't show in progress.
Right. So if okay, so we have Arc Flash Basics, and rigging safety. So Arc Flash Basics is showing in progress.
Yeah.
So that
But like
matches
when you
what-
clicked on that, it wasn't in progress yet. Right?
These others. Well, they're going to be in progress because of the way the certifications are set up. But once they complete the training, it's going to show certified in progress. In progress means they have been assigned, they haven't started the training yet.
Okay, all right, that's perfect. That works for me then. So then the guys, when they log into their homepage, is what they're seeing. So they just need to know, hey, that certification there, if they see anything there, they're assigned it and they need to go do it. Is that correct? And that'll list everything that they're assigned that has a certification associated with it?
No, this is only going to list the last 5. So, so for example, if I click on certifications, let me go back so you can see what I did. This title bar is going to take me to the user's transcript. So this is a user's transcript. It's just filtered out to certifications, and I can go by status, I can go by date added. And so this is going to show the most recently added training first. So this is going to show all of their training. Does that make sense?
It does. But so if they're, let's say, so back on that home page again, you said that only shows 5. Does that show like the most 5 recently added? So like, let's say there was one that was added before these 5, but they were done with these 5 and not done with it. Would it show up on here, or would it not show up in here because it's the 6th one old? You understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, I understand, and I'll have to check on that. As right now, it looks like it's it might not be showing the most recently added, because it looks like. Let me go back to the transcript.
Yeah, like the ideal situation
this should be the most recently added.
Okay, so the ideal situation would be, and I don't know if there's anything we can do about this, but if there was any that they had assigned that they weren't done with, that they showed up on there.
They say.
Right, so even if there was only, let's say they were assigned 10 that they weren't done with, even if only 5 showed up on there, as long as it wasn't like if they were assigned 10 and done with 5, but the 5 they were done with happened to be the, you know, most recent 5 or whatever, then the other 5 don't show up, because then they look at it and they think they're done. I mean,
Right.
we can tell them, there's certain things we can tell them till we're blue in the face that unfortunately, while they should get, they don't. Right? So it's just, we're trying to make it as intuitively easy. Like if I look at this right now, I can easily see that, okay, I have 3 things I need to do. Right? Is how I would look at that page. So if I see that I have 3 things and I click on the certification, I may have 8 things on there, and that's fine, as long as it doesn't, like on the certification, have all of those looking like I'm done, but then if I clicked on certification, there was 4 other ones I still had to do. Does that make sense or not?
Yes, it makes perfect sense. I do understand what you're saying. And I need to check that time, or that, I'm looking at some settings right now. Bear with me for a minute.
No problem. And if there's some setting we could put in there to make that be the case, that would be wonderful. Because part of our problem is the guys, you know, we tell them to log on, and they log on and they look and they see, you know, look at the stuff and it looks like, oh, I got nothing to do. So then they're like, oh, well, I'm done. You know, when they really still have stuff to do. So.
Yeah, because they're not going anywhere except the login page.
Exactly. And it's like you tell them and they'll remember that day, but then 3 days later when they log in, they don't remember that. So.
Okay, I just changed a setting. Let me refresh this. Log out of that and go back.
think I have a lot of work to do on this too, because I just initially put the stuff in there that we hadn't finished for the year, because we were transitioning from the EDF system on to this, but then some of this may go back and not be done. We set it up annually, and some of this stuff may actually only be done in every 3 years.
Which we can
So as
deal
soon
with
as
that
I
later,
get the
yeah.
tack test, I'll get done with that later.
Yeah.
But I gotta get the matrix set up with what we're doing. When the last date we did it, and there's a lot to do on it.
Okay, this isn't showing up yet, but I did make a change where completed certifications would not show up in this area. So if there's something that's showing up in this area, it's going to be because it's not complete. So as long as it's not complete, even if it's only set to 5, it's going to change their view.
Okay, that'd be perfect. If anything, and like I said, if there's say 8 and there's only a field of 5, that's fine, because they'll realize as they're going on it'll show up, right? And even if they did say 3 one day and then they logged off and then came back a week later and logged on again, they would say, oh, nope, I got 5 more to do, right? And that would be perfect.
Right. Right. I do want to show you a couple more settings while we still have time. I want to show you how to assign a certification, and I also want to show you how to view users that are in a certification. So under admin, there's certification management. So if we click on certification management, all of these certifications are going to be listed. The Atlantic Power certifications will be under AP, and I'll click search, and it will change that filter to the Atlantic Power certifications. So the certifications that are listed on the far right, and you should have a view user icon and an add new users icon. Add new users will assign users to the certification, and the view users will show you the users that are in the certification. So right now this is showing all users at Atlantic Power, and it's showing that there are 45 users, and this is showing the status. So Brandon Armstrong is showing in progress. If I click this little icon, it will take me to his transcript for that training item, and you'll recognize this page. It's what we were looking at before. I'll click back, it'll take me back to that page. If I click on, let me go back to the users that are in that. If I want to remove a user from a certification, then I click this trash can. I don't recommend doing that unless you assign a certification to a user by accident. And you can also select plant location. So if you want to limit this to a specific plant location, let's say Allendale, and we'll click search, and now only Allendale users are showing in this list. Does that make sense?
As far as, yep, nope, that's perfect. As far as adding training, like right now we're kind of in we want to do like the 2020, adding all the training for it. Is there any way, and there may not be, I don't know, but if we had an Excel spreadsheet, is there any way to do like an import where it would take the data off of that Excel spreadsheet and populate MarTech? Or if we send it to you, that you could easily do it? Or is there just, you got to go in and individually, every single training and assign each individual person?
There is a way to import the training for the users, or to, whenever you're assigning training, to import a sheet that has the users within that sheet. Let me show you how to assign training. So if I click the Add New Users icon, it's going to take me to the enrollment tool. And the first thing you want to do is under Status, select assign, approve, assign and approve. And you can upload users. And all you have to do, this is a CSV file, and all we're going to use are going to be the user's email addresses. So if I had a simple sheet such as a simple spreadsheet that has the user's email addresses, then I'll choose that file, add it, and then let me see if I can build one for you so I can show you what that would look like. I'm going to take two email addresses here. I'm going to create a new spreadsheet, paste in the user's email addresses. I'm going to save this as a CSV file, comma delimited, and we'll call this new users. So if I come here and choose the file for import, click add, and this is going to show the file that I just uploaded. If there were any errors, it would let you know that there was an error with the file. So if I click next, this is going to show the two users that I had selected. I'm not going to complete this or submit this. I'm going to go ahead and cancel. But that shows you how you can import users.
Okay.
And that is one certification at a time. So if you have 20 certifications that you need to assign, then you would have to do that 20 times. So here's a different page. If I click proxy enrollment for a certification at the top, it's going to take me back to the previous page. You'll see this looks like the certification management page. And you have your orange person icon again. So I guess the long answer to your question is there is not a way to import an assignment for all the users and several different certifications. You have to do it one certification at a time. But creating the spreadsheet is pretty simple. I do want to show you one other thing that I did not show you that might make assigning certifications easy. If you click add new users, want to select sign and approve certification, you can click the plant location. I'm going to select Allendale, and I'll click next. Now all the users in the Allendale plant are selected. So if there's any users that I don't want to receive this certification that are Allendale, I can uncheck them. And then click submit, and then those users have now received that certification.
Okay, and then so what it looks like is, like, so the ones we put in so far, it looks like they'll automatically, and I think you said this earlier, I'm just making sure I heard it right, they will automatically next year at the same time, basically a month earlier, they'll come up saying, hey, you got to do this, it's due in a month, and then they do it, and then they're good to go for another year. We don't have to put all those ones back in again for 2020. They're just going to show up at the same time period, right?
Exactly. You just have to do it one time.
Right. So now is there a way to change, like let's say we did them in the third quarter or fourth quarter this time, but kind of what we did this time was we just transferred companies, so we caught up on all the ones that needed to be done. What if we want to say move them from the fourth quarter to the third quarter? Is there a way to do that? In
Make
other words,
their training requirements?
Yeah, so like right now they're doing 12 months, but if we wanted for like a one-time case, like from now going forward, let's say we wanted them doing it in July for whatever reason instead of in November, can we like kind of switch it this time where in 2020 is due in July and then it would be every July after that? Or is it kind of what we set up initially where we're at?
Let me look at that. looking at the type of renewal that's associated with this certification. So this is a relative with rolling period, which means that they're going to certify 1 year from the last time they completed the training. So if, for example, the user is not going to, if they're not required to renew until January of next year, but you want to say, hey, you know what, you guys need to go in September and complete this training. Then if they go in, log into the certificate, and click re-request in September, then their new expiration date is going to be a year from whatever date they complete. So it'll be September of next year.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and these all should be set up the same way.
Now, is there a way for us to change, like, let's say some of the stuff is we only need done every 2 years instead of every year. Is there a way for us to change certain training to be every 2 years?
You can do that. Right now, all of these, a lot of these are set to either 1 year or 3 year. So
Okay.
if you see this category, it's going to say that it's 3 year. If you need to change that, so for example, there can be a lot that's involved with setting up certifications, but I'll go ahead and walk you through. So for example, or give me an example of a course that is currently 1 year that you would want to change to 2 year.
Put me on the spot.
Maybe the crane voice stuff.
Sure, let's go with,
I set it up a year for us, and we may only want to do that like every 3 years.
Yeah, it's set up for 3 years right here, and then
Okay.
there's 1 year right here. So I'm going to go ahead and set one up for 2 year. So I'm going to click copy, and I'm going to create, make a copy of this 1 year certification. We'll call this 2 year. And right now,
It is mostly 1 and 3. That's, yeah, in the regulation.
just going to leave this as 1 right now. And going to leave everything the same. I'm going to click next, and this takes me to the training. And there's a validity. We can select the validity of the training. And right now, this is saying that if the user has completed this training 6 months prior to the assignment, then it will show valid for the training. It will automatically mark them certified. And we can change this, but right now I'll keep this at 6 months. And this can be changed. Scheduling. So the renewal period, what we're doing is we're changing the renewal period. So I'm going to edit this. I'm going to edit the period date. So if this is 2 years, I'm going to go ahead and put this at 23 months. So after 23 months, they'll enter into a renewal period, and I'm going to change this for 2 years. Click select. And now we have a basically a 2-year certification. The emails are set to whatever the defaults are in the system. And this is just a summary of what we have set up. And click save. And so now we have one set up for 1 year, for 2 year, and we also have one set up for, this one is 3 year.
Years.
Edit the title on this. So keep in mind that the training for each one of these is the same. So when what I'm saying is the framework. So MARTEC 11201, crane and hoist safety, it's the same course. So you wouldn't want the user to be assigned more than one of these certifications, because they'll have to complete the training to keep all of them current. Does that make sense? If they're assigned
Yep.
more than one.
Yep, absolutely. So if we want it every 1 year, select the 1 year. If we want it every 3 years, select the 3 year. And if there's something like that, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I didn't realize there's 3 year ones in there as well. So, so that's good. So we can select that, and if we need to modify one, we can. So.
Yeah, and with regards to making modifications to certifications, if you see this trash can, it means it has not been assigned. So you're going to have a lot more flexibility in editing the recurrence or scheduling of the certification. So if I go into a certification that has already been assigned, I'm not really going to be able to change this information without reversioning the certification. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So users have already been assigned this, and if you make any changes to it, it's going to affect users that might already be in a certified status.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And
that's very helpful. I appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad you like it. So I will look for an email to see what users have not been assigned, or to see what admins do not have admin privileges or do not have the reporting, and I'll go ahead and add those admins and make sure that everyone has a version of the custom report. That custom report being Atlantic Power certificates. And then if anyone has any questions about anything, please feel free to email me or call me. And if you want to spend some more time with some additional admin tools, there's a lot of stuff that can be done within the learning management system, then please let me know and we can set up another training. But I will send you the admin training that we have, and you can use that as a reference as well.
Perfect, thank you.